welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts. Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son, Tim Hoey. Well, first of all, we have another great show for you tonight, so let's get it started. But before, the Professor Russ Stevens can't be here tonight. His father is having some physical issues, so we send our thoughts and prayers to Russell, the Stevens family, and of course, Russell's dad for a quick recovery. We're always thinking about him. We love Russ, and hope his dad well quick. Absolutely. All right, boys, we start with Patriots Draft. It's porn in the spring. We know we're going to be disappointed, right? Like porn.
You get someone good. They might get, I don't think they're moving up. I think they could get like the best defensive player in the draft.
Yeah, that's right.
Your favorite, the linebacker there.
Yeah, I thought Parsons from Penn State, but there are a couple of linebackers.
I saw an article in the Globe today. I thought it summed it up perfectly. He's going to trade down. He's going to take the Stanford quarterback at like 29, or another player at 29, and he'll get a high second round to go with it.
Yeah, and then he trades a fourth round pick for Jimmy G. He gets his quarterback. I think the rumors are.
He has a developmental quarterback too in Timmy's scenario.
He does it to us every year. We get all excited. Oh, he's got this pick. He's got that pick. And he trades down, which, I mean, he's won 6 Super Bowls, might have a lot to do with Tom Brady, might have a lot to do with Bill Belichick, but I think he doesn't fall in love with these hyped players. I think he believes in what he sees in a player. He says, oh, this kid, the rest of the country doesn't have, but we really like him and we can get him in the second round. And with that, maybe I can get another pick out of the deal and get another person we like,
When has he ever, Mel Kiper and Bill Belichick, been on the same page? Even if he does pick 15, they're going to say, well, he's going to pick Parsons or this guy. And then all of a sudden it's going to be a guy from Division IV football, high school prep.
Or the linebacker from Notre Dame, that J.O.K. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name.
When has anybody ever hit correctly on what Bill Belichick actually did? I don't think ever.
Oh, yes. There was a guy from the Cape Cod Times, of all places, 5 years ago that hit on like the whole first 4. And one of them was like one of those crazy second rounders that they didn't even have film on, and the guy hit them all. He must have had some kind of inside information.
But he mysteriously disappeared shortly thereafter.
I have looked for him since. Never seen his name again.
Right. Yeah,
so when it comes to somebody like, you remember we picked Logan Mankins? It was like, who?
Right. Yeah. Right.
Well, he was highly rated. No one takes a guard in the first round. At least back then they never did.
That was a great pick. Look, Duger. Nobody knew who Duger was. He wasn't on any of our radar, and he turned out. Look, he's going to be a stud. He already was a stud.
I believe. I like that J.O.K. guy because he's in that mold of only bigger than Duger and more athletic than Duger. So he'll be like a linebacker safety, like Phillips and Duger were being used last year. Only be better, faster, and bigger.
I think Belichick says, do I believe my own eyes or do I believe what Mel Kiper is telling the world?
Yeah, he doesn't really care at that point who's been taken. I mean, he knows who's left and who he wants, and he doesn't really care.
Just don't listen to that coach from Georgia. He gave him bum information on 2 first-round picks there. He's not going to even pick up the option on Sony.
No, absolutely. But look. Jimmy G, the only market they're saying, of course, as we knew, is the New England Patriots for Jimmy G. Nobody is interested in taking on any part of that contract. Nobody really wants Jimmy G. Teddy Bridgewater just got traded today for a 6th round pick. I think this puts Jimmy G in the no more than 3rd round draft pick range.
It's all about the money. Teddy Bridgewater went, and Carolina had to eat the money. They ate $7 million of the $10 million.
Really?
Right.
Yes. So wow. It's all about the money, and I think if they have a little, The Patriots should just give him a second. This year, next year, I don't care. Make the deal now. Don't wait until the middle of training camp and everything when the horse is out of the barn. Get it done now.
I mean that contract is the gigantic poison pill with Jimmy G.
Well, that's why he's got to get rid of him.
Look, the draft pick has the greatest value during tomorrow, or well, obviously it's a 3-day draft, during the 3-day draft, because they're thinking about guys they want to pick. So I think if Jimmy G's coming, he's coming in the next couple of days.
Do you
and the
think
world's going to explode?
Do you think Jimmy G? What dreams about Jimmy G, Scotty K? Do you think if they did draft for him or they did trade for him, that they would want San Fran to pick up some of that salary?
Or I know I'm going to say that they're going to negotiate a deal with Jimmy G.
I don't see Bill BB shelling out $25 million a year for Jimmy G.
Jimmy's going to have to renegotiate and make some of his money, like signing bonus money, and then play around with it and put it off, defer some of the money. San Fran maybe pick up a little. It depends how much San Fran picks up, how good a draft pick. You give them a second-round pick if they pick up a lot. Third-round pick if they only pick up a half. Fourth-round pick if they pick up none.
Look, if they give him a 4th-round pick and they're not paying a lot, it doesn't stop them from cutting him. If they don't think he works out. Look.
Yeah, so Jimmy G has to know that, right? He's not going to get close to that money from anybody else.
I don't think Jimmy G cares right now at this point, right?
Well, yeah, let me tell you, Jimmy G knows he's one crunched knee away from the end of his career. Why would you walk away from that money? There's a lot of variables here.
Well, Jimmy G has to negotiate because they don't have to give him a nickel of that money until the first day of the season. Once the first game starts, first game check. Before that, none of it's guaranteed. Not a penny.
Joe, you're saying they could cut him the second game of the season?
No. Before the first game of the season.
Yeah.
Before the first game of the season.
They don't owe him nothing. Zero.
Look, I think there's no question that if they don't trade Jimmy G to the Patriots, they're going to cut him.
But that doesn't do the Patriots any good because then he's not with them during training camp or anything like that.
Joe, your microphone's not working very good, Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I guess.
I'll talk a little louder there for you.
Yeah. No, I think, all right. So boys, is Jimmy G a member of the New England Patriots by Sunday?
I say yes.
I think
I don't know how. I don't know the math and how they're going to slice and dice it, but I would say yes.
Joe?
I say yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he is too. But I don't think that precludes Bill Belichick, because he's just surprising us on all levels to trade up still and get a Trey Lance or something, a project guy.
Have you heard about this? Have you heard about this kid from Stanford? I read an article about him, raving about him today. He's like the real deal.
They also like the kid. They've done a lot of work on the kid Kellen Mond from Texas A&M, and they've done a lot of work on Kyle Trask from Florida. They've had a lot of their scouts there.
Yeah, that's what my sources are telling me, is that they really like Trask. And if they want to pull a Jimmy G type move and draft some guy in the 2nd round. But look, don't be surprised if all of a sudden the 15th pick, if they like a quarterback that we're not talking about, they draft him. That's how he works. If that's what he wants, if he wants Trask at 15, he'll do it. When Danny Ainge wanted Peyton Pritchard, right? He could have waited, but he wasn't going to wait because he wanted him on his team, and he took him.
How can you pass up? You might have on your board the best defensive player in the country available at 15. How do you pass that up for what's the success rate for these quarterbacks that are drafted?
But Timmy, it's going to be all about. It's going to be how they grade them. It's whether it maybe Mel Kiper grades this guy in such a level. It's whether Bill Belichick grades him that level.
Yeah, I think he'll grab a quarterback in the 2nd round. I don't think the people he likes are going to be available. I think he grabs someone they really, have high hopes for in the second round or the third round.
All right,
I think that probably the blue chippers that he really likes will be gone in those first three picks. And the guy he wants, he'll have to settle for a second round, third round guy.
okay. James Young, Romeo Langford, Aaron Neesmith, and N'Keal Harry. They could all go tomorrow in trades, but we can only trade N'Keal Harry, apparently. Is N'Keal Harry on the Patriots on Sunday? Yes. Joe says yes.
You wonder if this kid's got more in him than he's shown us,
He hasn't shown us anything, Timmy.
A lot of it is attributed to lack of effort on his part, right? That's what I hear a lot. He just doesn't try on a lot of plays.
I don't know. He just doesn't look like he has the physical abilities to separate from defenders, right? And that's what you have to be in the NFL. Yeah, I mean, maybe Joe, is he out of position? I mean, is he really a slot guy? H-back type?
He's too tall to be a slot guy. He can turn it over the middle. He's so long.
Right, but I mean, couldn't you put him almost in the tight? You wouldn't now, but couldn't you put him in the tight end spot?
Well, we got two tight ends.
Before that, I mean, couldn't you have?
That would have been an interesting thing to do, but I don't know if he could do it.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know about mentally.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I think N'Keal Harry does go. I think they want to move on from him.
But I don't think it'll be this week.
Whatever you just did to your microphone, Joe, it's better.
I think they trade him for a 5th round pick, and I think that's maybe that's.
Yeah, he's just taking up a roster spot at this point, and I wouldn't be surprised if they grab another wide receiver in the draft too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's a possibility in a pick 15.
Yeah.
You know what else? I think they might, if they trade him for a pick next year. Next year, they'll be able to scout these guys a lot better. They haven't been able to talk to these guys or anything.
Yeah.
Interview them other than Zooms like this, which is probably very unsatisfying to football people.
Now, I got to ask both of you, if one of those Alabama receivers are available at 15, do you grab one of them?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think you'd be.
You have to.
Yeah, you'd be buying real low on them right now, because those are stud guys. And
those are game changers. They're playmakers.
And it's only
they get that tight end from Florida going third. Do you guys agree with that?
Pitts, yeah, he's a monster.
He'll probably go 4 though.
Yeah, he'll go 4th to the Falcons if they keep the pick, I think. Okay, I got a rumor for you, and this is a pretty good source. This would be crazy. Don't sleep on whether Carolina trades Darnold to the Patriots.
What?
Yep. Because
to the boogeyman?
Yeah, because the Jets would have never done it. Wouldn't that be that they would trade him?
But they have nothing because they got rid of Bridgewater today, so they have no quarterbacks.
And then if they were in position to draft one of the young quarterbacks, maybe a Justin Fields drops or Mac Jones, they could spin it to the Patriots for Darnold. This could be a very interesting night.
Oh yeah, and let's say 15, I think, would be between around 9:30 and 10, so we don't even have to stay up late either.
Especially if they trade up, then we get it early. And look, it's exciting because the Patriots stunk. Would you say, Timmy, that the Patriots stunk more than the 15th pick in the draft? It feels like they should be in the top 10.
Yeah, they look bad, really. The offense looked really bad, as bad as any team in the league at some point. Yeah, they seem like a bottom third of the league type of team last year.
Yeah. All right, boys, it's going to be fun. Can't wait. It's definitely more exciting than any football game that we watched.
Now we know how the Jets feel every year, right?
Yeah, I know. I can't wait. All right, Celtics, boys. Look, it was plus 500 last night. Maxie made huge money. He bet on the Thunder last night. Plus 500 is pretty extraordinary. You don't see that on a betting line much. That was a really good bet. Celtics are dogs. Celtics can lose to anyone, and they proved it last night.
They have tuned out the coach. And I heard a good comparison, Cassidy versus Stevens, I mean, it's a different sport, though. I mean, your star of your basketball team is out there 80% of the game, 75% of the game. A hockey player, there's 4 lines, It's a lot easier to bench your star or one of your stars in hockey than it is in basketball. And, the NBA, they have to cater to these guys. It's like the coach and the management has to walk on eggshell with these superstars, and they'll just demand a trade. It's a players' league. It's completely a players' league.
I don't know. Yeah, right. It's broken, guys. And how do you fix it?
Well, I think there are 2 stars in Tatum and Brown are pretty lackadaisical in their approach to these games. It doesn't really kill them when they lose, and they don't get too excited when they win. It's almost a very, very blasé about the whole affair. And that's not a good attitude to have.
I think Jason Tatum needs to mature more. I mean, he's the same age right now, I think, as Larry Bird was when he was a rookie. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Brown's not far away from that at all. I don't think Jason Tatum has reached that point in his mental maturity to realize exactly what he's involved in here. Meaning,
everything's going so damn well for him, Timmy. He's signed a $160 million contract. He does commercials, Subway commercials. Where's the problem in his life?
He should be fighting, spitting, competing, trying much harder than he is. I mean,
exactly, Joe. I don't know if he's reached. I think it might come eventually.
Don't think so.
When he realizes exactly the position that people are looking at him to assume, that Steph Curry go out there and try my ass off every single night, no nights off. And I mean, that's what the real stars in this league do. That's what they do.
Larry Bird, that's Tom Brady, that's Steph Curry, good example. Guys that compete, that really fired up to compete, and every moment, not just
every moment
when you want to.
Look, I think he has the personality to be the number 2 guy. He has the talent to be a number 1, personality number 2. If to correct this, when you talk about the personality stuff, there's one guy who could correct this, and that's Bradley Beal. That he grew up with Beal. He loves Beal. He respects him. If Beal were to come to the team, Beal could be the number 1 guy. Tatum would have a lot to prove to Bradley Beal. And then if a Tatum, Beal, Brown team, I'd like to see that on a full season.
Beal looks like he gives it his all every night. I mean,
he definitely does.
He does not seem like a take every other night off guy.
Tatum seems to want to be a number 2. He defers to Smart all the time, defers to Jalen. Who does all the press conferences? Jalen or Smart. You never see Tatum there. He's willing to defer to them. He doesn't want to be the number 1 guy.
Yeah. I think he wants to be Kobe for a lot of things, but Kobe was the guy.
Yeah.
And all right, is Brad Stevens survive this? Because at some point you got to start listening to the customers. I know the whole don't listen to the fans, or you'll be sitting with them. But at some point, if it gets loud enough, Danny or Wick is going to have to pull the trigger.
Well,
they just gave him a 5-year extension not that long ago, right?
Yeah, I mean, but that money's already spent. It's guaranteed. That's not why you keep the coach. The moment you sign that contract, you're not getting that money back. So you can't do it. You can't, proceed like that. I don't think Brad Stevens makes it.
He should have taken the Indiana job.
Yeah.
What would you give to have Doc Rivers running this team right now?
Doc Rivers would be good. But, again, Doc Rivers, I mean.
He didn't want to rebuild him.
No, but also he's a veteran coach. He likes his veterans. And I just don't think Tatum and Brown have that veteran personality yet, do they?
And he's not doing all that well in Philly.
Well, right. I mean, look, Embiid is definitely, Joe, Embiid's played a lot better this year. with Doc Rivers than he's been.
Oh yeah, he's brought up the best in Embiid, but
I mean, from outside appearances, I don't know what goes on in those locker rooms, but Doc just seems like somebody who commands respect from any player that he's coaching. I mean, and I don't know. Brad Stevens just doesn't seem to have that cachet. I don't know what it is. He couldn't handle Kyrie. I don't know who can handle Kyrie. But Brad has not found the keys to Jason Tatum yet. You know, he hasn't found how to push Tatum's buttons yet.
That's true.
Guys, is Brad Stevens just a valet? I mean,
that's a bit strong. He is a coach. He's an NBA coach. He's a well-respected guy. He just doesn't seem to be getting through to his stars, which is what you have to do in the NBA. You have to motivate your stars.
Yeah, I mean, Brad Stevens is not going to start yelling at any referees anytime soon. He's not going to turn over the lunch cart. I mean, that's just not his personality.
There are certain guys that have that. You know, Greg Popovich. I mean, Red Auerbach. Some guys have it. Maybe you either have it or you don't have it. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the secret formula is that the great NBA coaches. And I mean, this league is now in a state where it's never been before, where the players are calling all the shots. How do you coach in a league where the players are calling all the shots?
Yeah, who I thought would have been a good fit. You know, obviously, I don't even know if he's still living, but Bill Fitch would have been a good fit with this team. I always thought Bill Fitch was a great coach, but he's a hard-ass guy that I think that could get these guys in line.
Larry loved him. He knew how to make you got to have a special relationship with your best player.
Yeah,
it's got to be in that league. That's the way it's got to be.
Yeah,
you know, there are a lot of guys that would fit the mold you want around the league. You know, like Nick Nurse and them.
Thibodeau would be a good one too. Yeah.
I don't know about Thibodeau. He'd run him into the ground. You know,
right, but he's
starting five, and that's it.
Look at a great job he's done with the Knicks, though, Joe. My God, you know, and look what he's done with Julius Randle. He's made Julius Randle the best player on the team. All right, we go on the bus.
That's what you got to say about the Knicks. They come every night and they play hard every night.
Yeah, Randle.
They have the talent, but they're playing tough.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could say the complete opposite with the Celtics. They don't play. They don't come every night. Yeah, they don't play. Yeah. All right, Red Sox 15-9. Lead the AL East by 3 games. I think it's just time to talk magic number. I don't know what it is yet, but it's coming.
When Richards spins a beauty like that, I know the Mets aren't world beaters, but that was a nice performance last night.
Well, that's a great point. But he's a guy that has lots of upside, huge amount of talent, been around the league a lot. He's like the Jeff Green of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, now we'll have 3 stinkers in a row like Jeff Green.
Yeah. You see glimmers of stardom, and then next thing you know, he takes the next month off. But we got a good performance. So if he only wins 1 game, at least we got for $10 million won a game. But look, Red Sox are playing well. And Timmy, what we spoke about on the good teams, and we've had some good teams in the last 20 years, what they are doing is they're competing every night. And in baseball, you do that in over 162 games, things are going to go well for you.
You know, I know you don't want to say this, but I think a lot of that has to do with Cora. You know, he seems to, we're talking about coaches connecting with their teams, and Cora seems to be connecting with this guys and knowing who to put in, who to pull out.
No, and you laugh.
Who's not, you know?
I was definitely joking last week, but it's true. That he organized the greatest conspiracy in the history of Major League Baseball. He has some talent. He's evil. He's a scumbag, but he has talent to organize people.
He can really get things going. They were the most consistent team the Red Sox have ever put on the field was his last team, right? And they're very consistent this year. They give you a decent effort every night. What more can you ask from a team? He motivates his players to get out there and play.
Yeah, he seems to be the opposite of what we were just talking about, Brad Stevens. He knew, you know, if you're managing people, you know, you have to treat each person differently. You got to know what buttons to press with each person. And Cora seems to have his finger on the pulse of these guys.
Yeah, and I agree. And one thing I do agree with, is that he gets the most out of Erod.
Oh,
Yeah.
without question. That's
Yeah.
his biggest success.
Now we don't know.
Turn him into an ace.
Yeah. Now we don't know if he's riding Erod. We don't know if he's taking Erod out to dinner. But whatever he's doing with Erod, he knows the buttons to push with him.
I think he plays it. You know, he sometimes rags on him.
He always yells at him and calls him out. If he slacks off, he calls him right out in public.
Yeah, you know, a guy like Cora can be a father-like figure for Erod. And look, Timmy, you've said it before. He speaks Spanish. That definitely is, I think, a requirement now to be a Major League Baseball manager. Look, he's a scumbag. I cannot tell you any different. But yes, is he doing a good job in the first 24 games? Absolutely. I won't ignore that one bit. Frenchie Cordero, we had such hopes. Strictly, we didn't even have to see him play or see what he looked like, but that's one of the best goddamn names in the history of sports. But he's a stiff.
Yeah, he can't even, he's Ryan Dahlback, can't get the bat, that's too slow.
Your bats, yeah. If you can't hit the fastball in Major League Baseball, you don't last long.
No.
He can run though. He has a first home plate to first base. Great time though.
Yeah. And and he makes up for being a horrible hitter by being a terrible outfielder.
And he strikes out all the time. It's not just he makes outs all the time. He strikes out. Doesn't even advance a runner or anything.
We've seen so many of these stiffs, the Willie Mo Painters of the world, so many over the last, 50 years in this town. Rob Deere, Jack Clark, just guys that we knew were done. They never switch. It's not like
third baseman we had before Devers. The last 6 third basemen were all that type.
Yeah. So those guys never improve. I mean, all of a sudden he's not going to start hitting the fastball. Duran is coming, boys. The next Jacoby Ellsbury is coming to the Red Sox. And that's very exciting when you take into account that if they can continue to hang in there and be competitive the rest of the season, and then you add a Chris Sale, you add a Jared Duran to the team. All of a sudden, these are mid-season acquisitions that we know can help you moving to the end of the season and hopefully toward the playoffs.
And maybe add another reliever, a lefty, please.
Yeah,
a good lefty.
And because of the depth on the team, and in Worcester and even in Portland, Timmy, they have there's tryouts right now in the Major League roster. If you don't handle yourself quickly, you'll be cut or you'll be sent down, and that's different than last year.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. And life. Everywhere, especially when they're getting paid like they get paid. Put up or shut up, and there's another. Bring the next guy up if you're not performing.
Look, we got a team that has one of the best records in baseball, and we have the 4th pick in the draft. I mean, think about this. All of a sudden, top 5 picks, Joe. That needs to be an impactful player moving forward.
Well, it's got to be the best pitcher available. That's where they need it. Someone who can develop into a great starting pitcher. That's what we need.
That seems those guys are like gold bars, like diamonds.
That's why when you have a pick that high, you got to go for that. Go for that starting pitcher, that Scherzer.
The last thing I want to see is some kind of high school. I don't want to see a high school shortstop. And apparently of the top 4 picks, one of them is a high school shortstop. Please don't do that to me. Please.
We have Xander. He's fine.
The guy, look, I don't think they're going to get Leiter, Al Leiter's son. I don't think that happens. He probably ends up picked. But if they could get this Coomer kid who's 6'3" and he's built like a linebacker, that would be special. He looks like a guy that could be a number 1 starter.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but can you trade the draft picks now?
I know you cannot. No, you can't trade the draft.
I thought they could trade draft picks now.
No, I don't think they can. Because
in the new agreement they can. Maybe not first rounders, but
yeah.
Speaking of draft picks, have there been any sightings of that Groom kid?
No, I don't think anything happens. I mean, he's still fairly young. The guy that really was a horrible failure already is Trey Ball. I think he was the 7th pick in the draft out of high school in the Red Sox, and he stopped pitching. He's now trying to be an outfielder.
Wow.
That's a really bad pick. I mean, a 7th pick in the draft, that guy should play in the major leagues at some point.
15-year career.
Right. I mean, you can't miss on those guys.
No.
I mean, it's
baseball is tougher to pick than football.
Now is that because of an injury? He's switching positions, or he just can't find the plate?
Oh no, he's just not good enough pitcher. Trevor Bauer. Well, I like Trevor Bauer. I like guys who have personalities, but it was huge. I don't know if you heard the comments he made. That he said that it's okay. Why don't hitters, when hitters hit home runs, they should celebrate? This is ridiculous. Why should I have to?
He's covering his eye going around.
But that is exactly why the Major League Baseball, the young people aren't interested, because they restrict players from being happy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, don't celebrate your victories.
No, right. And in fact, we're gonna drill you next time.
Yeah.
It's lunacy, but a guy like Bauer hopefully changes the wind in Major League Baseball, and people start to realize that that's acceptable.
Major League Baseball needs a lot of changes.
Yeah,
a lot of changes. I'd love to see what their ratings are in the TV market. I mean,
does anybody way up?
They are.
Yeah, and the streaming, of course, is super way up, but that's just because more and more people are streaming.
Look, they're always going to be successful, these sports, because it's live entertainment, and right now, and they got to fill, these networks and stuff have to fill time, and to be able to fill time with 3-4 hours, it's priceless to them, and that's why they're in the business. And
live content, you can't zap through the commercials either. That's what they really like.
Yeah. So they're always going to make money. The baseball is always going to be around, and we're glad. All right, let's wrap it up with the Bruins. 4th in the Eastern Division, 92% probability that they make the playoffs. But, again, they can't rest their players right now. They have to go to the end to make sure they make the playoffs.
Well, Taylor Hall looks like a great pickup, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's looking better and better. That was a nice goal last night. And
yeah.
Swayman came along at the right time. Don't you feel a lot better about him than Halak if something should happen to Rask in the playoffs?
Yes. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in the playoffs. After the performance our backup goalie gave last year in the playoffs, I mean, that was so disappointing.
Yes, it was.
And Tuca has a short leash in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. After that Buffalo game the other night, I'm sure.
Why you win, Timmy? You don't think so?
He's like a known commodity,
Oh my God! Oh my God! Now you're defending him?
Well, I've seen him play.
So conservative.
No, my book on Tuca. When he's playing good, hats off to him. When he's not playing good, he's. I want to get out there and strangle him. It all depends on which Tuca we get. Which Tuca's playing.
Yeah, well, now you got Swayman to throw in there just in case, and that'll keep him on his toes.
He can obviously. Tuca can stand on his head some games. I mean, and then other games you don't know who the guy is.
Safe bet.
I think the bigger problem is the young defense. They got a lot of young defensemen there that have never played in the playoffs or only dipped their toe in the playoffs. That's going to be the bigger problem.
Yeah, what's the state of our defensive core going to be? That's what I worry about. Carlo and.
Well, have you liked the way Riley's played?
Yeah, he's playing pretty good.
So that clearly getting Hall and Riley were big pickups.
Oh, huge, gigantic. Goal scorers are hard to find. Those guys who are on the score sheet every night, and Hall seems to be living up to what he's supposed to be.
Pretty remarkable that you got an MVP player just a couple of years back for a 2nd round pick in the NHL.
I'll tell you, I think it goes back to this. I think there's been a change in that. That's my guess.
Oh, well, look, you have a sense of that stuff, and if you're guessing that, I'm betting you're accurate. All right, boys, that's our show for tonight. Want to thank behind the scenes Corbin, of course. Want to thank the fellas. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.